just consistently being in this cycle. Friday night out, Saturday night out, Sunday night out, go back to work Monday, be ruined.
One of the guys was saying, you know what, just surprise people, just randomly tell them you love them. Like, you get me, and see their reaction. And he was like, a lot of the time, their first reaction is a screw face, like that. What the? What like, because
what kind of love?
Yeah, some batty man thing or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's a lot deeper than that.
Why?
Right, you need it.
That's the stigma, innit?
You need it though.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
There's only so much we can provide each other.
Yeah.
Because the food, the natural food comes from the woman.
You don't need your brethren telling you you're sexy.
Yeah, it'd be like, thanks, brother, but it's not the same as hearing it from like... It's not the same energy, innit?
If I get into criminality, it doesn't matter where I'm going to end up. You don't end up on a ship, on a yacht, and end up like Escobar or something like that. There's two outcomes. If you follow this path, you're either going to end up or in prison. And if you end up in prison, it's probably going to kill you anyway, because what do? You turn around, you close yourself off, and then you end up leaving those notes. And knife crime isn't the biggest part of what it is, but it's how it's actually happening, which is so dramatic. Big up Ferone Paul, who's an advocate for getting knives off the street. He's a community worker. He gets these knives from these young people and offers them vouchers and turns around and says to them, look, we are trying to change the community in regards to the knife crime, because you can readily order zombie knives and these hatchets and crossbows and all everything, but the likelihood of you getting in an altercation and you having to use it to defend yourself is unlikely, because if you're in a stunt with one person, you're carrying a knife, and there's 6 other people, they're going to take that knife and take it off you and use it on yourself. So you're using it for protection of what it is, but it ends up being used on you.
Is it normal to experience thoughts? Like, have any of you ever like gone through that?
I personally will turn around and say yes. For me, whereas and this is how it happened, I was running away from problems. I was running around from credit card problems, you know, financial issues. And I was like, and again, when I say the weaponization of using your kid and not being able to fulfill those roles financially, it was killing me. It was killing me. I was just like, you know, I want to run away from it, or I don't do. I feel like I just felt like I failed. And the masculinity that came from that was, I can no longer do this. And it was only by the grace of the people that was around me, you know, because my mum, even my dad at the time when he was still alive, those little things that he kind of left inside me to turn around and says, all right, you can still do this. And it was very, very interesting to see how destructive keeping stuff locked in was. Because when my dad passed, I was enclosed, but I turned around and kept a pretense like, yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool. Don't worry about me. Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, and I was burning up inside. Burning up. Because I wanted to ask my dad questions. All of a sudden, I just wanted to ask questions. You didn't
know that time would get cut.
And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm cool, I'm blessed, I'm you know, I've got no problems. And I go home, and you know how they say that you use things to kind of mask things. And I think, I don't know whether it was like a complete drug abuse or a complete like alcohol abuse, but I did turn around and say, I'm going to cover up this, and I'm just going to go party, I'm going to rave, I'm going to sleep around and stuff like that.
Yourself.
Yeah, and I just turned around and distracted myself, and it went on for such a long time, and I'm talking about like years, like fully boned years before I could turn around and be like, you know what, I've got a problem, I need to kind of slow this down. And it's through meditation and growing my locks that things started to just, wisdom and so on and so forth started to say, you need to kind of calm this down.
Because your locks is retaining the wisdom in there. I sound like a joke, but it's true.
It allows you to come into yourself, innit? And it allows you to retain your identity.
And you're comfortable with your own natural state now.
So I've always heard it's an antenna kind of thing, innit?
Yeah. Up to this day, I accept that my father has passed, and I use it as a base of grounding. If somebody says, you know, it's being weak to turn around and show emotion, I use that as a grounding for myself to say, no, it's not.
Good.
Yeah.
Don't chat shit. Because it's not weakness to be able to show emotions. Like, you have to put money in it. Yeah, you have to
imagine.
If you feel comfortable in the space that you're in, and people allow you to do this, and this is why your circle, as the nail say, you get me, real bad in a mind circle, or positive people in a mind circle. If you feel your positivity in that circle is good, then you feel comfortable to be able to have your emotions and say how you feel. It's when you're in them kind of environments that has the toxic masculinity or toxic femininity where you're not allowed to do certain things that turn around and creates this narrative that you can't do certain things.
And not only are you not allowed, but you're also made to feel embarrassed for feeling that way. You get what I mean? Like certain circles will make you feel away for being that kind. And it's mad. It's only when you reach them levels as a man, especially a black man, where you realise that some of the most powerful attributes of being a man is allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Because as a man, that's not. It's easy to be the big man and be like, I'm gonna box you in your jaw and come across with. But it's not easy as a man to say, I need help. When you deal with losses in life, man, it really does. It creates a resilience in you.
Do you mean grief or losing your job or?
I mean,
because it's a form of grief, isn't it?
What's the worst or most inconsiderate reaction you've had to your mental state?
Worst reaction? When I was going through my personal like mental state and I was on like the verge of like, I've always had an obsession with the dark, right? And it's not like to say I've gone into evil and darkness and so on and so forth, but I just was obsessed with dark things, dark imagery and so on and so forth. And I remember my mum pointing it out to me one time and she's like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I remember I was obsessed with just darkness and being dark and not being happy. And so for me, I don't think I was eating right at the time. And I remember my body just being, I used to be a lot slimmer. I wasn't eating right. Alcoholism, especially when I was going out and I was obsessively drinking. You know, people say like white boy wasted. It wasn't I was a brocking fight, but I couldn't just go out and just be like, oh, I'll have a couple of drinks. No, I need to get white boy wasted. Just white boy wasted. When I'm leaving there, I need to be almost on that point of I'm falling over, legless, and I just needed to be there
to
escape it. And I was just from day to day, from weekend to weekend, just consistently being in this cycle. Friday night out, Saturday night out, Sunday night out, go back to work Monday, be ruined, waiting for the weekend to happen. And it was consistent for years and years and years. And I just remember saying to myself, getting to that point where it's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I remember I was like, I'm going to leave, I want to go to Canada. And then when I was looking to move to Canada, I didn't have the finances to do it. And I was just like, I've had enough. Nothing's working for me. Nothing is going right. I've had enough. And it just was turning around and being like dark, and just having imageries and post them on social media and just being like angry. It wasn't to say I was putting up demons. I remember a couple of times I did do that stuff, but I was just obsessed with darkness and just being in this depressed grey area.
It's like one extreme to the other.
Yeah, complete extreme. And it wasn't. I don't think my friends actually knew. As men, we don't turn around and see something and say, all right, cool, let me go and check in with him. It's only, I think, during COVID that it became acceptable. Go check on your brethren.
Yeah.
You get me? Go check on them. But at that time, it was just like, oh, he's going through something, it's cool. You get me? He'll be out on the weekend and he'll be drinking.
But as men, we always seem to wait for extremes to show that level of love. Like the amount of funerals that I've been to, and all of a sudden the man them are showing the most love. For like, yeah, man, and you're thinking, when this brother was alive, you didn't even knock on his door, bruv. You didn't even call his phone.
You didn't even share
You never once told him how much you love him, but now you're here pining, bruv. So give the man them their flowers, man, while they're still there.
No,
Trust me. And even just a random man as well, not even necessarily your brethren, but just your fellow black man. It's alright for you to show them little love, man.
Like I went to like a mental health. It was a play that was being held, innit? And one of the guys was saying, you know what, just surprise people, just randomly tell them you love them. Like, you get me, and see their reaction. And he was like, a lot of the time, their first reaction is a screw face, like what the like, because
what kind of love?
It's a batty man thing or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's a lot deeper than that.
Why? Right, you need it.
That's the stigma, innit?
You need it though.
Yeah, exactly. Like one time I was in hospital, like when I was a bit younger, I caught an infection, like late teenage years, and obviously it was something that I had studied a lot to better myself and whatnot. They were going by the protocol and this and that, and so they wanted to give me bare painkillers and this and that, and I'm thinking like, I don't really want to take all them painkillers, but they're like, no, we know how to treat this, like just take these painkillers and it will help, like this is what's gonna happen.
Someone feeling like they know your solution more than you do.
Exactly, and I had already gone through the cycle of that, feeling just terrible and all of that, and funny enough, a lot of the issues that I had was from black people, Because like when I came across like the white nurses or the white doctor, they were more listening and understanding, and they actually took in what I wanted, my concerns. And
but auntie feels like she's literally your auntie,
exactly,
so she's gonna tell you.
Exactly, like you have to do this, like we know what's better for you, we know what's good for you and all of that. And I'll say that, yeah, it's mad because we bring this on ourselves sometimes. Like, because of this stigma that's been put on you, you then put it on someone else. And at the end of the day, we need to break out from it.
There's not much things more frustrating than somebody feeling like they know how to help you more than you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like if people are like, oh, you're alright, or you're okay, or you'll get over it, them kind of reactions can force people more into isolation. And I think the fatality, I don't know specifically for black men, but generally from what I understand, it's not always what you're going through. It's the fact that there's no outsource, like nobody you can express yourself to. If you could vent and have a listening ear and the person handles it correctly and it's just like, oh, get over it, that could prevent a lot. You still have the problem.
100%.
You still have the problem, but you just won't feel like there's nothing you can do about it.
So then again, it stems from the root. We have to instill that and teach that from that, to be accepting from someone else's like kind of stress and that.
I feel like if you can say to your friends, if you've got like-minded friends and a couple of you can say, look, it doesn't have to be a WhatsApp group or nothing, you could just say, look, like there's 4 of us, we're gonna check in on each other and every now and again, and you can be vulnerable with each other alone. So it's like, okay, it's my time to start venting. Today I'm good, but my brothers needs to vent. And if you don't have it, maybe some of you in the comments might want to just create a group of like a I care brother kind of sit in and I give a you know, but it's true because I know a guy who's got a circle, but they kind of grew up together, and there's about 6 of them, and they are actually in a WhatsApp group, and sometimes they go out to eat together. It doesn't have to be that, but that helps. They sit down and talk as men. They're more of a godly centered group as well, but find your niche because certain people are on different things.
Everything works for everyone.
But speak to someone.
I've got to say this question is a hard one for me because when I was younger, and even to a point now, I'm quite emotionally guarded. I allow myself vulnerabilities, but to the people that I know it will be reciprocated from.
Right.
You get what I mean? And there's not many people that I would do that with. And there's certain things that I know that I can say maybe to a cousin or a brother or a friend, but they don't all get the same version of vulnerability. You get what I mean? So I do pick and choose who I feel like can accept a certain level of my emotional integrity. You get what I mean? So it's hard for me to pinpoint a time where I've been like expressed myself and it hasn't been received well, because I don't usually allow myself to get to that level of vulnerability with people. But as an example, it's usually for me, like I am a firm believer that men are always seeking the affirmation of women. And a majority of the things that men do is for the appraisal and affirmation of women.
I hear that.
Whether we like it or not, that is part of the society. It's always the person that would make you feel that way is normally a woman. Whether it's an auntie or a mother or a partner or even sometimes your sister or whatnot, it's always because we're wired to kind of, even in the hard work that we do, going to the gym and whatnot, it might be for us, yes it is, but there's always going to be a side of that. And you can't deny it. As much as I'm a righteous man and I'd like to say, nah man, I'm just doing it for me.
I see, when I gas my husband up, I say to him, oh, but your arms are looking big, darling.
It's sweet.
And he's trying to smile. It's not even that I don't like to smile. He just be like, move my arms. Or sometimes I'll get the hint, so he'll be like, I'm not eating enough, I'm getting skinny. I'll be like, skinny where? Where's your skinny? I said, if you're skinny, what am I?
That's what I'm saying. That breathing life into a man. That kind of food can only come from a woman. You know what I mean? So as important as it is for the man them to back each other up, there's only so much we can provide each other. Because the food, the natural food comes from the woman.
You don't need your brethren telling you you're sexy.
Be like, thanks brother, but it's not the same as hearing it from like. It's not the same energy, in it. Like, you know, a certain man, they're like, I want to be like you, I want to be like you. Like, you big up each other, but it's not the same as a girl saying, right, you're looking kind of nice. So,
but here's a big one. So it says signs to look out for when a man needs space to be alone And then signs to look out for when he needs help, comfort or attention. Because sometimes you want to be left alone. Maybe you've come from work and there's a lot going on. And sometimes you actually want your gal or your friend to be like, oh, are you okay? What's wrong? And actually listen. So what is the differences that we can look out for stereotypically or with you in particular so that we know which one is give him space and which one is ask him?
I would probably say we're as complicated as women are in that kind of, because we turn around and say it's an emotional minefield. It's a logistical minefield as well, because you might turn around and be like, all right, cool, he's come home, he's a little bit upset, so I might cook him his favourite meal, and he might open up to you, might not. It's in that kind of same thing.
Like, feed me. Feed me and things will be fine.
But I say that, the only reason why I say that is because me I only speak on behalf of myself, because you can't really turn around and say on a spectrum ladies or the spectrum men this is what's going to happen, because if you kind of do that, you've kind of pigeonholed every single emotion that you're going to have to be able to have a specific reaction. But one of the things for me personally, like you said in regards to food and so on and so forth, I've always opened up, because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Is that true then? Yeah.
I would, 100%.
I would say that is.
I can't be vexed with a full stomach.
Is that priority number one though?
No, I would never say that, because one of the things that is
pussy or pie?
I mean, maybe for me, maybe because I feel like you could chat as much shit as you like, yeah. If I'm hungry, that's it, blows. But if I'm full, you chat all the shit you like. I'm in a food coma right now.
The reason why I say that is, for example. And I say this, and I don't want to be too crude or whatever it is, but they turn around and say, well, when you man stress, give him fellatio. Yeah. You get me? He's a little bit stressed out.
I mean, that's an alright idea.
Fellatio means head for the hood people.
I'm quite a simple man.
What's fellatio? Don't put the video to Google it. It means head.
But we already discovered that you're a lot more advanced than
I have to. But the thing about it is, it's because of the complications of what it is. Because if I've turned around and now that I'm working along the schemes of having to be more emotional in my job, right? So I have to be more thinking about, all right, there is outcomes that I have to do, but I have to be more emotionally kind of based, because I'm talking to young people. I'm talking about experiences that they have, trauma and so on and so forth. So I'm empathetic in regards to the role that I'm doing in a day-to-day basis. So when I come home with my dramas or whatever it is, it's not just to turn around and say, all right, cool, I am tired because, what's his name keeps telling me about these figures and facts and whatever it is. No, I'm tired because of the system.
Okay.
You get me? Which is a bigger scheme of things. Like, our young black men are being arrested on a disproportionate or stop and search or all these little bits and pieces.
You've got an organisation for that as well.
So, currently I'm working for a group called Spark2Life, and I'm running this program which is called Black Men for Change, which I'm doing tomorrow, which is a network of black male professionals who work within different schemes, but whenever it is like mentoring and so on and so forth, apprenticeships, getting them into work, rites of passage, all these kind of different things.
Big, man.
But one of the things, reasons why I turn around and say, if we want to kind of progress as men in regards to getting over certain things, we can't be simplistic in the needs of what we need to get out of it. So it's just saying, having my belly full and having my willy sucked is going to be at the beginning and end all of things. But we're not just, that's still kind of keeping that masculine, that toxic. So you have to get rid of those notions to turn around and say, right, I'm having a long day. Yes, it would benefit me because talking about it. But if you're not hungry and you're sexually satisfied,
so maybe those suggestions put you in the headspace to now address the issue.
It could,
because maybe if you haven't eaten and you're still tense, then you can't even discuss it yet.
It's the same thing when you turn around and say anybody can be hangry.
Yeah.
Anybody can have that. If you're coming up to your ladies' time, you might be feeling a little bit more randy, knowing that you're going to be on your female time of the month or whatever the case may be. So for me, how do I navigate those things? You're not going to be able to navigate those things because we're coming up to a point as men becoming more wise about the trauma that we were speaking about before. It's not just having our belly full and having our willy sucked is going to be able to. It helped. You get me?
But you know what I think it is?
It's more complicated than just saying how do I navigate? Take a shot, shoot your shot, find out what is the problem.
I think it's because like I'm deeming that of the relationship maybe that I'm in now. It's a very happy and healthy relationship. So there's not a lot of things that will really upset me in that relationship.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that it's usually a personal thing. I'm hungry or I'm horny. That's as deep as it goes. Like most of the time, because we overstand each other. And we're very talkative with each other. We conversate a lot. We're very healthy in that aspect. So it's not an issue. So in order to answer that question, I have to cast my mind to less healthy relationships I've had in the past and think to myself, actually, if I was still with Shaniqua, again, I'm going to use that name. If I'm still with Shaniqua...
Shaniqua's a slut!
Shaniqua's been with everybody. If I'm still with Shaniqua and she was
Shaniqua deserves the streets. She belongs to the streets.
If I was still with her and she just wanted to feed me and give me fellatio, then it wouldn't work the same way, innit? Exactly. Because we have other issues that we need to iron out. So
when Shaniqua's done, it's like, bitch, I
still don't like it.
Now, what's about it? Talk about it. Okay, I got my last question. Do black men cheat? No, I'm joking. Because
we don't. We never do. We're getting entanglements like J Dub.
You like the side men,
yeah? That's what happens. We get entangled. We don't cheat.
It's like women.
We get entangled by women like Jada Pinkett.
Jada Pinkett's out there. Don't be fooled. How should young men, not just young men to be fair, big men as well. These are questions that other people's asking as well, so don't judge me for some of the questions.
Big up.
How should young men deal with rejection and heartbreak? Now, to elaborate on that, because I know the women on here is like, since it's the last question, they want me to squeeze this bit in there, yeah? See, when we go on road and the man is like, yo, darling, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not talking about the nice ones that are like, oh, excuse me, mate. I'm talking about the disrespectful ones, yeah? And we decide now we're not going to give you a number. You know how much man will give you the phone and be like, call me now, call man now. And girls intimidated there. Don't get it twisted. It's a you know. Man be out there freaking out, gal intimidated, especially if you're with a bag of... Disclaimer, if you're with a bag of man and you actually want to talk to the gal, yeah? Tell your brothers to be quiet and stay back. Because even if the girl wants to talk to you, if a bag of man come to talk to you, it's intimidating. Talk to the man them out there that don't really... Sometimes it's their pride, sometimes it's heartbreak, and sometimes they just don't have to deal with rejection. And they've been taught.
You gotta get over the ego, innit? Like,
the ego.
With the group mentality as well, like you have to think like an individual, I believe, anyway, because the group, like the ego can drive you to certain places. And at the end of the day, there's as they say, the bait saying there's so much more fish in the sea. Like, don't just put all your eggs in one basket and think, oh shit, that didn't happen. I have to make it happen. You don't have to make it happen. Like, get me? And that will be seen as so aggressive, and you're just then further in the stereotype of what people think. Like, because there's always onlookers, and they'll be like, oh, here goes another one. And yeah, man, you just have to.
It's kind of. I find it kind of weird because, like, I'm from the age where chivalry is not dead. Right. So opening doors and so on and so forth, offering buying a girl a drink is cool and everything else, yeah. But there is that very, very, because we're in a community that doesn't really know how to navigate what is acceptable and what is the normal, whatever it is. So if, for example, you come from a background where engaging in conversation backyard is how you engage, it don't work over here. So you can't bring that same kind of energy or whatever it is. But there's still that level of respect, and there's that disgusting level of misogyny that comes with it. Like, I remember going through a time where I would be like, if I can't get a girl's number, but it was that pride and the energy that comes within that pride, the ego of all of your brethren, like, you didn't get the number, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But I've come to understand that rolling in smaller packs is always a better thing.
Yeah.
And I'd probably say the second thing in regards to that, like, man, then, if you're going to go to approach a girl, how would you turn around and approach them? Would you approach your mum or any kind of elder in that space? Because you wouldn't turn around and be like, oh, auntie, go and get me that bloody whatever it is from the kitchen or whatever it is, because you would put respect on her name. So the same way you wouldn't turn around and treat a stranger, you can't turn around and talk to a stranger and be like, yo, let me get you, because you need directions to get to somewhere. You're gonna ask them, please, can I get the directions? So if you've got the respect to turn around and ask them any kind of shape or form of a question, the same way you want to ask for her number, you're gonna ask politely. You don't have to turn around and be like, but it's that you don't have to feel soft to turn around and be polite. you can still be assertive in how you do it. So you can turn around and be like, so why you can't give me the number? Okay, cool, whatever it is. You don't have to carry on with your pride and the ego like, I didn't get the number.
There's an art to it. The way that I've never been the kind of guy that switch on a girl or feel any type of way. If anything, because
I like the way you said art.
Yeah, there's an art to it. There is, because I took it like sports, because I grew up in sports. I used to run track and field, and then I got into boxing and whatnot. So to me, drawing down was almost a sport, and there's a healthy and unhealthy way to see that. But it never made me aggressive in any way. So if a girl turned me down, it's game on, challenge on now.
Yeah.
So what can I do to convince you that I'm that guy for you, kind of thing? And if and you have to, it allows you to know when and where is the right setting. So me personally, when I was younger, it was very rare that I'd approach a girl on roadside with the man them. Because to me, that's not the time or the place.
Right.
You get what I mean? So when you start thinking about it as like a
individual,
as something where I need to now prove to you why I'm worth your time. Not like, oh, I'm the man, so you should then take my number. And if you don't, you're a dumb bitch. I never came with that energy. I always thought, listen, you're gorgeous, so why should you just give me your number? Like, literally, like, you should give me a little piece of attitude, and that's fine at the end of the day, because you're a painting. That's why I'm over here trying to chat to you.
I knew this would be easy.
Like, if you give it to me too easy, I'll be like, okay.
Trust me, imagine how many man's approaching her. You got to think out of the box.
Yeah, man. So, and that affirms to me that when I'm with you, it's not going to be that easy for another brother to get your number.
I'd also definitely say as well, everybody's level of beauty is different, right? So big up the fluffy gal, get me?
Yeah.
Big up the girls that feel that they have to wear a particular thing to turn around and make them feel sexy or whatever the case may be. So for everybody, it's individuality. Everybody's got their own choice of what it is.
Yeah.
And what I might consider sexy might be what he considers being peng as well.
Yeah.
So it's having that kind of understanding that, brother, she might look attractive on the outside, but on the inside she's disgusting. So it's understanding that although you're turning around and choosing somebody, and sex is easy, you get me? But if you're going for the long-standing lady or whatever the case may be, understand that you got to build something that is just more based on sex and your belly. Because after them things there dry out, from my personal experience, it get dead, it get boring, and as the gentleman said, the pyramid system, you'll drop down. You get me? You'll be dropped down. The
and you have to think about, if you want to actually be with a girl and you want something long term. I'm talking about, when I talk about sportsmanship, I'm talking about an era where I wasn't serious, and I know I wasn't serious. So literally, I'll be drawing 12, 10 gal a day. And I'll just be trying my luck here, there, and everywhere. All right, that didn't work. Next time, maybe I'll come with this approach. So after a while, your craft gets perfected. That's why I say it's an art. Because certain time, when I see certain men approaching certain gal in certain way, I'm thinking, that's never going to work, Bridget. That's never going to work. But you're a rookie to the team. You ain't received enough no's to know what don't work. So that's what I'm saying. When you get that no, don't take it as an L. Take it as a building block. You get me? To get to that stage where
constructive criticism.
Man. All right.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, when the girl says no, instead of saying, nah, you dumb bitch, say, like when you're in a job interview, what can I improve on? What did I do wrong?
I'd like some feedback.
And even when you do silly shit like that, sometimes the girl will think to themselves, actually, this guy's different. I like him, kind of thing. And that's the kind of approach that I learned after a while to take from receiving no's. You get what I mean? So yeah, and there's no need to be aggressive. Like you said, to the ladies, man, because we've all got mothers. And we've all got women that we love, and a lot of the time, I find that it's the same man that are preaching about how they'd slap down any man if they disrespect their mum or their sister. You're the same one that's out here calling
slapping up
everyone else's brother and sister.
Yeah, maybe reflect on that a little bit, like maybe do something to help yourself in that aspect. But yeah, man, like I said,
now this is brilliant. Thank you guys so much for this. We got even some good pointers, like you that said, solutions out of it. So run yourself a hot bath if you get a chance, some 15-minute meditation. It's not all about medication. I mean, if you got advice, if you want to smoke a little herbs and that, it's not a bad thing, but there are other options. You can write music, you can sing, you can go running for a jog, you understand? Go for a drive, sometimes
you just need to have a conversation with somebody, like, and just express to them, I'm feeling a little ways, like, and I'm not sure why. You don't always have to know why.
So go to your people in your circle and be like, look, like, let's have a little mental health check-in on each other every Saturday or every other week. And if you don't have anyone, drop in the comment, and somebody else is gonna want someone. You understand? Like, you can make a group.
Sometimes reaching out to people that you don't know is better as well. Because I remember being in a state one time where I was really down about something coming off the back of university. I was just stressed out. And I came out of Waterloo Station and I sat on this bench, just having a quiet, still moment. And I don't know if he was homeless, but he seemed homeless. One guy came up to me and sat down next to me on the bench and just started rambling on about the history of the area. And he weren't talking to me about my problems, but because he just randomly started giving me energy about what he was doing and how.
That always happens to me, people in the street.
Yeah, and then you just find yourself. I found myself looking at him, thinking to myself, like, look at me here, sitting down depressed about I don't know what. This man looks like he's been down and out for years, and he's still here, chipper, like proper, trying to make me feel better without actually because I could tell that he could tell that I was a bit down in it. But he didn't want to, because we're mandem, he didn't want to just say you're right. He wanted to just come over and just talk to me, innit? Which is fine. Again, that's something that women can definitely use. Sometimes asking a man if he's okay is an issue. Like, I don't know why. Don't ask me if I'm okay, because a lot of the time I can't express what I'm not okay about.
Sometimes it makes it worse. Like, you might be on the brink of crying and someone says, are you alright?
Just have a normal conversation with me, and whatever I want to reveal in that moment, I will.
Drop it in casually.
Yeah, man.
Any more advice for the brothers before you go? Or words of encouragement? Like, we all go through it, you know. You're not the only one depressed. Life's hard.
Man. We do all go through it. And like I keep saying, we're human beings at the end of the day. So it don't matter if you're a man or woman, you're black or you're white or whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to go through things. So empathy is a must, man. And understanding that, listen, simply just asking somebody, how are you? Is a powerful tool sometimes, because nobody might have said that to them. Like, literally, no one might have just stopped and said, how are you doing?
No, it's got to be like, raw.
And you think it's a raw, how am I doing?
You actually reflect on yourself. And one thing as well I'll say is just, don't take what other people say about you so seriously, because at the end of the day, that's their perspective. Like, once you know you've bettered yourself and you know your only challenge should be yourself.
Okay.
That's it, really.
I would probably say, if you actually actively want to make a change, is different from making a change from the outside. So, for example, I'm in a group where I'm, the man, then we kind of talk and whatever it is, and we do not regular checks, but it's good to be able to like be prompted on the checks in regards to it. So, if you're going to do something, do it from a space where you're actually involved in what you're doing. I mean, I've been in some spaces before where people just talk about the problems that happen in the day-to-day life and systems and so on and so forth, but you're not actively doing anything. Talking is one thing, actions speak louder than words, innit? So for me now, in leaving my retail world and going into youth work, it's because I wanted to turn around and stop talking about it and be about it. Stop the bugger talking and do something about it. So if you want to do podcasts or whatever it is, don't talk about it, be about it. If you want to turn around and change your life, stop talking about it, be about it. Don't quit because you've turned around and had a door slammed in your face. Look at it as a bit of a learning curve. So if you say, look, I've seen too many of these black youths, A, B and C, yes, we know the problem. What's the solution? As men, we kind of think of the logical way of dealing with it. But if you actively want to do something or you want to make a change, be about it. You get me? You'll be about your money, you'll be about your grind. You have to go get this, we want this, and whatever it is. If you want to make your community into what it is, support black businesses, support the people that are around you, support the young ones that are around you, support your family and your friends in those kind of environments.
Support me, subscribe. Wait, you ain't see me all the time. Support me, subscribe.
No, but real talk, on the social media thing though, like, you need spaces like this. Like, what you're doing is big, Ken.
Big.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
I
need
appreciate
spaces
that.
like this where you're talking about, because a lot of the time when people are scrolling, they're scrolling through nonsense.
This is why I'm doing it as well, because when people touch on these subjects, they got to sugarcoat it all the time. You got to carefully don't step on this one that are politically correcting. I grew up in the 80s, I was born in the 80s, I grew up in the 90s. There was no political, you have to be respectful, but you have to be able to talk your thing. If every time you want to talk the truth, you've got to be filtered, it's not the same. So undeep it, you can deep it. Yeah.
Social media has to be used as a tool for positive stuff, man. There's too many people that are logging on and knowing that it's not serving them. If it's not serving you in a positive way, then give yourself a break from it, man. Or log into channels like this one and get yourself some positive content, man. Not scrolling through mukbang and watching people eat their food.
That's it. If you don't subscribe, I'm gonna start doing mukbang. This skinny girl eating.
I do the food. I do
that might be a fetish though. See a skinny girl yamming there.
6 months later, it's just big.
Listen, if 3 kids never got me big, nothing can get me big, you know. But yeah, no, big respect to you, though, because I want the brothers, my son, I want man them that's going through things alone to be able to feel like they can relate, and it's not just them. They say this too shall pass, yeah? If you think about it, and this is depression on a whole, if you think about it, all the way you've been through in your life, yeah? And if you're a big person, you've been through enough, you got through every single one of them things.
Still here.
Every single one of them things. So when you're going through something, like you said, meds on it, don't just put it away and escape it and ignore it, because it will creep back on you, Deal with it. But give yourself even a time. Say, alright, today's my sad day. Or I've got a sad hour, real talk hour, cry a bit.
This, I have to pick up myself.
4 drawers into my smoke and I'm good, bro. Sometimes I my 4 drawers. Third one, I'm back. What is it?
It's like even with like goal setting as well. That's what you touch on what you saying. You have to set certain dates, because procrastination is a killer for us. Like, and
if you don't meet them, you don't meet them though.
Yeah, no, I don't. When I say
give
goal,
yourself.
I mean like a time to actually take the first step.
Definitely.
Like, I'm gonna start now.
Without the pressure. Give yourself the goal. Without the pressure.
Exactly. So if you do fall back, you can at least know you are closer to what you want than when you first started. Like, because you've taken a step. Like, get out of procrastination. Be like, I'm gonna start this tomorrow at this time and put the work in.
So it's healthy. It's okay to cry, and it's healthy to express your emotions as a man, and all that you've been taught. Unlearn it. We're doing things how we want to do it, and
don't put yourself in a box.
And
boxes are for Amazon. Don't put yourself in a box. You can do and be whatever you want to be, and equally you can do nothing. And it's fine. You're living your life at your experience, and that nobody else has control of that.
So if you need to recharge, listen to your body.
Do what you need to
Because if you're trying to impress people, when you're drop dead and burn out, then people ain't gonna come visit you in the mental home, and they ain't gonna.
You only got one of this kind of life anyway to live. So just enjoy it, man. Enjoy it.
True. Big on yourselves, King man. I appreciate that. I love this. This was good. Yes.